Have you ever thought about how strange it is that people, maybe even you, wear a cross or a crucifix around their neck? Today we wear them almost without thinking, but really it's like wearing a guillotine or an electric chair around your neck. Well, today is Good Friday, and so the cross stands at the center of our imagination. After being deserted, arrested, mocked, whipped, even spat on, Jesus of Nazareth is condemned to death. And why? On account of blasphemy. This man has equated himself with God, and for that reason he needs to die. Crucifixion was state-sanctioned public execution. You don't crucify a local rabbi for being a bit of a nuisance, and you certainly don't crucify a nice guy who just walked around telling people to get along with each other and love one another. It was the most shameful way to die. It said, if you mess with the authorities, this is what happens to you. In other words, Jesus in his ministry was up to something that was going to revolutionize the world, and the people at the top didn't like that. So certainly part of the reason that Jesus was executed was because of his message of resistance to the poor and the vulnerable, and the powerful and the elite didn't like that. What's the best way to get rid of this man and his message? Kill him. And here's why the crucifixion should matter to you personally. The church teaches that Jesus' sacrifice on the cross is one of vicarious atonement, complete with the full value of the redemption for the human race. Christ's death is the sacrifice that accomplishes the redemption of humanity, reconciling us to God through the blood of the covenant. We have all fallen into sin and separated ourselves from God, and sinning against an infinite and holy God is something that finite and unholy people like you and me can't fix. But because Jesus is fully divine and fully infinite, only his sacrifice can restore the broken relationship. He pays our debt, and in so doing destroys both death and sin. Through the sacrifice on the cross, we are restored and reconciled to God. Imagine you're a kid and you're out there with your friends throwing some rocks around, and you accidentally throw one at a neighbor's Tesla and smash the windscreen. Obviously, you have no way to satisfy that debt and to make up for the damage. So let's say your dad steps in and gives the neighbor back the money needed to repair his car. You're still the guilty one, but your dad steps in, vicariously takes on the debt and gets you off the hook. This, I think, stands at the heart of Good Friday. Jesus has undergone the most shameful, painful death imaginable so that you and I can be saved. But what if Good Friday is a time to imagine that none of this had happened? Imagine a world in which there was no Jesus. Imagine a world in which the poor and the vulnerable and all those who suffered were just left as they are. Imagine a world in which no one steps in to help you. As we await Easter Sunday, let us sit first in the silence of the crucifixion.